Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all from K College who've joined us today for the IELTS orientation by British Council. My name is Aditya Venkatraman and I am part of the British Council IELTS team. I have my colleagues on this call too who will support me during the session in case I encounter any technical glitch. The session will last roughly for 30 minutes where I will share with you about the British Council and cover topics like the reach of IELTS, the format of the test, the resources that are available. And finally, at the end, we will have the question and answers, if any. A few ground rules I would like to share. Those of you who are not talking, kindly put your mics on mute at all times. Feel free to post any doubts or queries that you have during the session in the chat box, and my colleagues will help you or I will answer them at the end of the session. So let's get started then and make the session as interactive as possible. So let me begin by talking about the British Council. We have over 80 years of language teaching and we build trust between cultures worldwide. We are experts in language assessment and are celebrating over 70 years of British Council presence in India. We have excelled in developing language testing for a good many number of years now. This is evidenced by our unparalleled experience in testing and in the range of English language tests that we administer around the world. By means of IELTS, we open doors for international candidates and also in the range of services that we offer overseas. IELTS is also one of the ways in which we achieve positive impact through our cultural relations agenda. So I'm going to quickly play a short video on who we are and the work that we do as British Council across regions. All right, so that was a quick introduction on the British Council. Now let's get into the crux of today's presentation, which is the IELTS. So can anyone tell me what IELTS stands for? You can unmute yourself and give your answers, or you can always post them in the chat box. What does IELTS stand for?
It's International English Language Testing System.
Yes, you're right. It's International English Language Testing System is the full form of IELTS. So if you're looking to work, study, or live abroad, then taking an IELTS test can help you make that dream come true. So IELTS is the world's most popular English test for education as well as global migration. IELTS has a one-on-one speaking test for a real-life assessment of your English skills. We have the pen and paper as well as computer-delivered testing options. Since 1989, IELTS has been creating opportunities for people worldwide. IELTS also has access to top universities across the world. So I'm going to quickly play another short video on an introduction to IELTS.
IELTS is the International English Language Testing System, the world's proven English language test. IELTS was one of the pioneers of 4 skills English language testing over 21 years ago and continues to set the standard for English language testing today.
I understand it is in collaboration by the University of Cambridge, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. So I have no doubt about its credibility.
IELTS is known to test all the 4 skills of language, so it gives an accurate measurement to someone's proficiency of English.
I needed an English qualification for my master degree, so I took the IELTS because it's like the passport to every institution.
Over 8,000 organisations and more than 2 million test takers around the world trust and recognise IELTS as a secure, valid and reliable indicator of true-to-life ability to communicate in English for education, immigration and professional accreditation.
The operations are the same in every single test center, every single testing location, for every single candidate.
Because it is a global standard, and any candidate who does an IELTS speaking test, it should be the same experience, the same rating, the same procedure, whether it's in Moscow or Brazil or Australia, whatever.
It's very professional procedures that I feel secure. People, they don't have mobiles and anything that they can use for illegal purposes.
We feel really confident that our paper is not going to be cheated, or this cannot be tampered or anything else.
Now, when I came here, everything were very easy. I mean, people were very friendly and kind. I mean, they filled in all the information for me, and that's just where I can check it.
When I registered here in IELTS, they give us free 36 hours and load of IELTS.
It was actually really easy for me to find the test center I wanted to and the dates. There was lots of availabilities.
Uniquely, IELTS tests English conversation skills through a face-to-face speaking test, which means that candidates are assessed by having a conversation with a real person. This is the most effective and natural way of testing English conversation skills.
So when I compare it with other tests, I feel better with the speaking part, that I can speak with someone and not with a computer.
For candidates, IELTS is a true endorsement of their language ability and gives greater professional and academic mobility. More people go more places with IELTS.
All right. So why did I say that IELTS is the most popular English test for education and global migration? This is because IELTS is now accepted and trusted by over 10,000 organizations worldwide. Last year alone, we had over 3.5 million test takers for the IELTS. So being the world's most popular English test, the IELTS test actually reflects on how you will use English to study, work, and live in an English-speaking environment. IELTS is developed by some of the world's leading experts in language assessment, and it evaluates all of your English skills. When I say all of your English skills, I mean reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So IELTS assesses language skills. We do not test specialist knowledge. The topics that are covered are general enough for all test takers. Why is IELTS recognized and trusted by so many organizations and individuals around the world? This is because IELTS is fair, it's reliable, and the high quality standards that come along with the test. IELTS ensures that the test questions are extensively trialed with people from different cultures to confirm that they are appropriate and they are fair. We have 1100 testing locations, over 140 countries, 55 centers in India, and we've got 18 plus centers in South India alone. So as we are just getting out of the COVID pandemic, our testing has also resumed in a phased manner, ensuring all safety measures subject to government guidelines are being followed at our testing venues. My colleague has just shared a link in the chat box. This will give you information on the exam centers that are close to you, as well as the IELTS dates that are available. Moving on, let's look at the test format. So there are two variants of the IELTS. One is the academic and the other is the general training. So which IELTS test should you take? So IELTS academic measures English language proficiency that is required for an academic or a higher learning environment. This particular module will test your general academic English, and it is to assess whether you are ready to study or train in English. The general training module, on the other hand, is for those who wish to migrate or undertake work experience or study at a below degree level in an English speaking environment. So the 4 modules of the IELTS test, we've got the reading and writing for 60 minutes each. The listening test is 30 minutes, where you get an additional 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. And we have the speaking test face-to-face with an examiner for 11 to 14 minutes. So you can see the overall composition of the test format on your screens now. Listening and speaking is same for both variants of the test, but the subject matter of the reading and writing sections differ depending on which test you take. The first 3 modules of the test, listening, reading and writing, happens consecutively one after the other on the same day. The speaking test may happen either before or after, a day before or after the other 3 modules. Moving on, let's look at how your IELTS results are reported. So the IELTS results are reported on a 9-band scale based on the CEFR, which is nothing but the Common European Framework for Reference. All language proficiency tests are mapped on the CEFR scale. So the IELTS results are designed in such a way that there is no pass or fail when you attempt an IELTS test. If you score a 5-band, you are a modest user who has partial command of the language. If you are anywhere around 8, you are a very good user who has full operational command of the language. So my colleague has just shared a link on understanding and explaining the IELTS scores. So you can always refer to that link to get more information on the IELTS 9-band scale or the band descriptors, which I will be talking about. Let's go into each of the modules in detail. Let's talk about the listening test first. So the listening test, as I told you, is for 30 minutes with a 10-minute transfer time. 4 parts, 40 questions in total. Part 1 and 2 would deal with everyday social contexts. Part 3 and 4 would be more to do with educational and training contexts. What will the assessors be looking for in your IELTS listening test is your ability to understand the main ideas and detailed information. If you can understand the opinion and the attitude of speaker, that is what the IELTS listening test is all about. Moving on to the IELTS reading, this is for 60 minutes over 40 questions. There are 3 passages which will be absolutely authentic, non-specialist texts from magazines, journals, books, newspapers. They are again very general and interesting topics which are appropriate and already accessible to all test takers. What are the main skills that are targeted? If you can understand inferences and the implied meaning in those passages, if you can recognize the writer's opinion, the attitude and the purpose with which the passage has been written. Moving on to the IELTS writing test, let's look at the academic variant first. There are 2 tasks. Task 1 is for 150 words, where you have to give a written response to describe, summarize, or explain some visual information in the form of a graph, table, chart, or diagram using your own words. This is task 1 and it is for 150 words. Task 2, on the other hand, requires you to respond to a point of view or an argument or a problem for 250 words. Let's look at the writing for the general training module. Task 1, you will be presented with a situation and you need to write a letter requesting information or explaining the situation. Your letter needs to be of 150 words. It can be formal, semi-formal or personal in style. Task 2, you will be asked to write an essay in response to a point of view, an argument or a problem. Again, the essay can be fairly personal in style for 250 words. Coming to the most important part, the band descriptors. This is directly proportional to the band scores that I was talking about earlier. So we've got 4 band descriptors for the writing tasks 1 and 2. Task response, we will be looking at if you can demonstrate developing and extending your ideas, if you can fully answer the question. Coherence is how well your ideas and information is logically organized, if they are properly sequenced, if you are able to use paragraphs appropriately to organize these same ideas and information. Cohesion is nothing but flow. It is how well your ideas flow from one to the next with seamless and logical transition. Lexical resource is to evaluate your vocabulary. What will the examiners be looking for? They will assess your ability to use words appropriately in the right context and accurately with the correct meaning and grammar. Last one is grammatical range and accuracy, where you need to be able to show a variety of sentence structures, tenses, and other items to convey the intended meaning. It is actually your ability to use correct and precise grammar with control. Moving on to the last module of the IELTS test is the speaking. So there are 3 parts in the IELTS speaking test for 11 to 14 minutes. Part 1 of the test would focus on your ability to communicate opinions and information on everyday topics and common experiences by answering a range of questions. So part 1 is called introduction and interview. This is for 4 to 5 minutes. Part 2 of the test would focus on your ability to speak at length on a given topic. So the examiner gives you a topic and a minute or 2 to prepare, and then you will have to talk based on the topic on which the examiner will ask you questions. This is called the individual long run, which lasts for about 3 to 4 minutes. Part 3 of the IELTS speaking test would focus on your ability to express and justify opinions and to analyze, discuss, and speculate about issues. This is called a two-way discussion because this happens face-to-face with an examiner for 4 to 5 minutes. Again, for the speaking test, we've got band descriptors. Let's begin with fluency. The examiner will be looking at how fluent you are, your ability to keep speaking, and if you need to hesitate, self-correct, and repeat yourself to keep going on further. Coherence is how coherent you sound, how your words, your ideas and thoughts flow together using a range of words and phrases to connect and organize your ideas. Lexical resource. With this particular descriptor, the examiners will be listening for your ability to choose the right words and phrases to express yourself clearly. Grammatical range and accuracy is nothing but if you are able to produce speech that is grammatically correct using both simple as well as complex structures. Last one is pronunciation. This descriptor is only to assess how easy it is to understand what you say. You are assessed on the range of pronunciation features that you use, which would include stress, intonation, and rhythm. Moving forward, apart from the conventional pen and paper delivery model, IELTS can also be taken at the ease of a computer by means of our computer delivered test. So I'm going to play a short video on the computer delivered testing. right, so that was about our computer delivered IELTS testing. So in South, we have got testing centers in Bangalore, in Chennai, Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Cochin and Coimbatore. So when we look at the differences between the pen and paper variant or the computer delivered testing, you can attempt all 4 skills on the same day if you are attempting the computer delivered IELTS test, which means that your speaking test happens on the same day as all of your other modules. The number of testing dates that are available for the computer delivered IELTS test are much more than the pen and paper conventional testing model. Your results are much quicker. You get your results in 3 to 5 days if you attempt the computer delivered IELTS test. So how do you prepare for the IELTS test with British Council? Once you register, you get access to Road to IELTS, which is our expert online preparatory course. You can also get access to our massive open online course, which is called Understanding IELTS, where we have experts to guide you. We have our official YouTube channel, which is called Take IELTS. You have numerous videos available there, which will help you prepare and improve your English skills and also practice for the speaking test. You can also get access to our Facebook page, where we host a lot of live shows, webinars. We post a lot of quizzes, contests. So you get access to our Facebook page as well. My colleague has just shared these links in the chat box, so please do make note of them. Apart from that, we also have apps of our own. IELTS Prep app will help you prepare for your IELTS listening and speaking test. You can also improve your grammatical skills and develop your range of vocabulary using this app. We've got other apps as well, which is called Word Power, Word Ready, Learn English Grammar, and Johnny Grammar Word Challenge. Don't worry, these apps will also be posted in the chat box, so you can always click the chat box to check these apps. They are available both on the Google Play Store as well as the App Store. So once you register and make payment online to take the test with the British Council, you get access to a 5-week self-study guide. On our website, we have familiarization and practice tests for the computer delivered IELTS test if you're looking to attempt that one. You can also understand about video call speaking. That's a feature that we've introduced where your speaking test happens with the examiner through a computer. The physical examiner will not be present. You still have to go to our testing venue where the speaking exam will happen through a system. We have also introduced IELTS Speak Ready, which is a mock speaking test. The IELTS Speak Ready will not give you a score because that is what the real IELTS test is for, but you get feedback from the examiner and will help you gauge how well prepared you are for the IELTS speaking test. All right, moving on. Coming to the last video for today, we've got a lot of questions regarding the safety that is being, the precautions and the safety measures that are being followed at our test venues. So I'm just going to play a short video on the safety measures that are being followed at British Council testing venues. Alright, so that brings us to the end of the presentation. The floor is now open for any doubts, queries, anything to do with the IELTS test. Please do feel free to ask us any questions. We are the right people to answer them for you. You can unmute yourself and ask us any questions that you want to, or you can always post them in the chat box. My colleague will be sharing a feedback link in the chat box. Please do take 1 minute and fill the form in the link, I mean, sorry. This will help you stay connected with us directly. We will send you a lot of updates as to what is happening around and the work that British Council is doing.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, please.
What is the difference between the British Council IELTS and the IDP one?
Okay. See, Devi, there is no difference between the test administered by British Council or IDP. Let me give you a little background. So, British Council, IDP, and Cambridge are all three owners of the IELTS test. Cambridge is the board. British Council and IDP are delivery partners for the IELTS test. So there is no difference in the test. It is only the method of conducting the test that is different between the two organizations. The test remains the same, the pattern remains the same, the format remains the same, the scoring criteria remains the same, because that is all decided by Cambridge. I hope you've got your answer, Devi.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else wants to ask us anything? Please do take 1 minute of your time to fill the feedback link. All right, so if there are no more questions, we would like to end the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. Hope we've been able to give you valid information. All the best for your future.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good luck. If you get a chance, please do thank the college management for giving us the chance to address the candidates today.
Yes, Aditya, I will talk to them.
Please do. Thank you, Abhi.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.